Well, this is a video I did not expect to be making tonight. The day started out strange, and it got stranger as the day went on. Yeah, so if you want to hear my unexpected story about today, just hang in with me and I'll tell you all about it. If I'm to tell you about today, it really kind of has to start with yesterday. I have been really wanting to get my car washed for some time now. As many of you know, I just cannot stand the fact that it's really dirty. And it just was looking horrible. It was such a pretty car when it was clean, and I really wanted to have it cleaned. But I somehow had not fitted into the whole schedule of things that I needed to get done. But I decided yesterday, I finally went to the podiatrist, and afterwards I said, you know, it's not that far away. They have this car wash here. It's not new, it's not brand new, but it's a relatively new concept, and it is, it's an express car wash. And I know they have them, I'm sure they have them in many parts of the country and the world for that matter. I said, let me try it because it was a really inexpensive way to go. And I could get the outside of the car done. And they do have stalls where you can vacuum your car. They don't have anything else. They don't have any way. Well, they do have rags that you can use, I guess, to dry off your car and then to vacuum it. So I drove over there and I went into the place and I wasn't quite sure what to get. They offer all different, types of service. So I got the second lowest one. He recommended that I not just get the wash, that I get something with a little bit more, does the undercarriage, and it also had some kind of, I don't know if it was wax or some kind of a shine to it. So I said, okay, let me do that. And I had no idea how it was going to come out or how I would feel about it. But they also offer an unlimited service where if the car gets dirty, that you can do it every day of the week if you want to for a monthly fee. You don't have to do it every month. You can stop it anytime you want. And the service that I wound up getting was $24.95 unlimited plus tax for the month. So it sounds like it could be a good deal if I'm making enough to warrant it, but I'd love to have the car clean. But this is just by way of giving you some framework for what happened today. So I sat in the car, drove through the car wash, and came out the other end not quite knowing what to expect. Well, I've never experienced anything like this. It was rather intense going through because there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a very short distance that you go through, but there's a lot of stuff going on. And it felt like I was kind of smacking at the car, but it's those, I don't know, looks like those fabric kind of sweeping motion things. That's really describing it well, but you know what I'm talking about. So I did that, came out the other end, and they don't have any people at the end where you come out. They do have two guys as you're driving in, and they kind of spray some kind of stuff because I said I had a lot of bird poop on my car and it was looking really terrible. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to get it done. That and the sap that is all over my car that was making it look awful. So I said, okay, came through the other end, and the total cost for what I got was $15, and that included the tax. So I thought it was quite reasonable. I come out the other end, they have got blow dryers all around, blowing air, this ferocious kind of like a hurricane coming at your car to dry it. But by the time I got out and I drove over to one of the stalls to vacuum the inside of the car, the outside was more dry than any time I've had human beings do it with towels. There's always dripping water from different places. This thing was almost 100% dry. I don't know how good it is for the car overall, but it looked pretty decent, and I thought the car looked great. I actually took pictures of it because I was so happy with it, and I'll put a few pictures in here for you to see. So that's the setup for today. So here I am walking around for the first time since before I went in for surgery, which was the last time the car looked good. I mean, I did have it washed once after the surgery, but that was an expensive wash. And it didn't look as good as this one did. It was good, but I thought that this one was even better. I really, really was pleased with the way it looked. So here I was walking around feeling so happy for that little thing that made my life feel like it had some semblance of normalcy. So I get in my car today, I do the things I have to do, got the car charged. It was very low. It was down to 24%, and I'm happy to report that from 24% up to 80, it still only cost me, I think it was about $17.50, which is pretty much the highest price I've paid to get the car charged, so I'm really happy about that. So I get that done, and I had my lunch, and I came back, and I was driving. I was at this corner, and I kept you know, when you see out of your side view mirrors, sometimes you can see a little bit of the side of the car. I was just so happy with everything about it. It just looked so good. I get to this one corner and I stop for as I get there, the light turns red. So I stop in the left turn lane and I'm waiting to make my turn. And all of a sudden, that all too familiar sound, that clunk, when another car hits yours. And I was like, oh no, no, it cannot be. But unfortunately it was. And I was so taken aback. I was shocked. The other driver did absolutely nothing to even acknowledge that the person had hit me. So I got out of my car. It was still the red light. I got out of my car. I turned around to face her. She wouldn't even roll down her window. By then, she had backed up slightly, which I didn't know at the time, but I thought she probably did, because there was a tiny distance between her car and mine. Tiny. She would not acknowledge that she hit me. She acted like I was crazy, and she kept motioning for me to just get back in my car and drive away, go away. She would not stop. She would not acknowledge that she hit me. I left there shaking, absolutely shaking. By then, traffic was tied up. There were people going around me to make a left turn because I had stopped to try to talk to her, to get her to stop to exchange information. Once again, she refused to acknowledge that she hit me. So I drove home. By that point, I was just in such terrible shape, and I said, oh my God, let me take a look at my car. I couldn't really see it when she was there. She was too close to my car. When I get in my driveway, I see, indeed, she has hit the back panel down at the bottom. And at first I thought it might just be some sludge or something that maybe could come off. No such luck. It was cracked, and I could feel the crack in it, and it was damaged, and then the panel under it was scraped. My car didn't have a mark on it aside from bird poop, and a little bit of sap on the car, although most of it did come off with the car wash. It did a fabulous job. So I drive home and I'm thinking, oh my God. And I take a look at it and I realize this has got to be fixed. I can't afford to fix it, and I don't want to fix it. I didn't cause this. So I knew that the Tesla I didn't get any information from her, and I was so upset I didn't think to take a picture of her car. I wish I had thought of it, but I was in a state of shock. So I and I'm sitting in my driveway and I'm going, what do I do now? So then I figured I'd better call the police and make a police report, so at least there's some record on file that this thing occurred, since she didn't acknowledge it. And when I spoke to a really nice officer at the precinct, he had let me tell him what had happened. And then he said to me, did you get any information from her? And I said, no, she refused to even acknowledge that she hit me. And I said, but I do drive a Tesla and I know that it has a dash cam. So the information has got to be there somewhere. I don't know where, because I've never had anything like this happen. So what did I do? I called my son, because David has had a Tesla and I figured he would know what happened. But unfortunately for me, he just got a new car, so he no longer could go to his car and find out where to find the dash cam information for me. He said to me, but look it up or look on the car, you'll find it. He said, it's not all that intuitive, but it is there and it should be there. So I finally found the information on the dash cam, and it did have a little bit of footage, but the footage was just of me driving home and into my driveway. That wasn't what I wanted, and I could not find any way to get back to the earlier footage. It just showed me the file from today, and then it showed me the file from yesterday. So I couldn't do anything. But the officer told me that I needed to drive back to where the accident happened, and that an officer would meet me there and he would write a report. I had to wait for him for a little while, so I kept looking for that footage and I could not find it. I finally said, it's got to be there somewhere. But by the time the officer came, I hadn't found it. And I told him my story, and he said, do you have her license number? And I said, no. And he said, what kind of a car was she driving? And I said, I thought it was a Honda, and it was kind of a boxy thing. It was dark gray. That's all I knew about the car. And he said to me, I can write a report, but I don't know if it'll really help you, because it's going to be an unknown vehicle, and your insurance might go up as a result of this, and you might have problems with your insurance, and it may cost you, they may charge it against you. And I said, I was hit in the back. How could they charge it against me? Clearly somebody else hit me. So I didn't know what to do, and he was kind of trying to convince me, I think, to not put in a report. But in my gut, I just didn't feel that was the right thing to do. He said, you can always do it because you have a certain period of time. I don't remember the period of time, but it was lengthy. I think it was 10 days or something. But I wanted it resolved, and I wanted to have something started, because the woman who was driving that car clearly thought she got away with it. She just drove off, and that was the end of it for her. But thank God that really nice, patient man who came to do the report for me came into my car, and he found the footage. And he found the footage where she actually hit me. And lo and behold, thankfully, because I'm in a state where you have to have front license plates, you have to have your front license plates in addition to the ones in the rear, he was able to read her license plate. By reading the license plate and by seeing the footage where she hit me, you can even sense the reverberation in my car when she hit me. he said, okay, he would write the report. He got all the information about the owner of the car, who she's insured by, and that he told me that I should be in touch with my insurance company, and he told me to be in touch with her insurance company. And hers was Geico, so I know it's a good, reliable company. And I'm going to have to be doing that. But it was such a stressful time, so stress-provoking. And I know the routine, because when they go to fix my car, I am going to have to rent a car. I can't be without a car. And I have State Farm, and State Farm charges you 20% of the rental fee, no matter what you pay for the rental. So I'm going to have to pay that. And the last time somebody hit me, I got stuck paying for the 20% deductible on the rental car, which I had for weeks, because until they fixed the old car. Now, when I came home tonight, I took a better look at the back of the car to see the damage, and I realized it's not as simple as I thought it was. I mean, I figured they'd have to replace the panel, but because Tesla has cameras everywhere, it looks like the camera is embedded in that, and so it's going to be much more complicated than I thought, and I expect that it's going to be costly. My nose is itching. Does that mean I'm going to have a fight? Oh my God. So that's my story. So I'm going to have to get that taken care of. I'm not sure exactly how to go about it. I kind of, wish I didn't have to do this myself, but here I am. So yeah, I'll be in touch with my insurance company. I didn't know if I had to wait till Monday to try to get more information from anybody, but I'm told that with a claim you can make it anytime on the weekends. So I'm going to be in touch with my insurance company and her insurance company to make sure this is taken care of. But I did not need this. I have so much on my plate as it is, and I am so stressed without this extra stuff. But that's my story. So if anybody wants to say a little prayer for me that this works out okay, I'm left very, very shaky after this happened. I'm literally feeling shaky from the inside out. So I don't know. My neck tightened up a little, but that, I guess, is normal under the circumstances. I don't know, but I had a bad neck injury from the other accident, so I just hope this doesn't activate anything for me. So that's my story, and hoping tomorrow is a better day. I'm going to try to have something to eat before I call the insurance company. If any of you have any great ideas about things I could do to make this work better, please let me know, because this is not my area of expertise. As a matter of fact, I'm beginning to wonder what is my area of expertise. Take care, everybody. So from my point of view, that dash cam alone is worth getting a Tesla for. How lucky was it that I had it?